Okay, this one's running, and all right. I'm gonna play around and see how that view is. I got a view of my palette. This is my travel palette. Everett travel set, and this is my palette. Just got basic colors: yellow, lemon yellow, pyro red, and ultramarine blue. Those are the primaries: red, yellow, red, and blue. And then I got a little bit of burnt sienna and yellow ochre over here at the end. Just add it. And down here I got some black, and then I got white, black and white down here. So here's my dot spray bottle. This is my palette bottle, Everett Watercolors dot sprayer. It's sold exclusively on Everett Watercolors. I use that to wet up the paints a little bit, spray that and get the palette started, and also can put it on there, do a little texture on the trees later on. So I'm going to get a little bit of background in. So background is just very basic, maybe a little purple this morning, just a little purple, just a little bit of sunrise, not much. We'll mix a little purple here with the blue and the red. Ultramarine blue and pyro red. Give me a little purple. And I'm going to go in here and get that background just up there in the sky. So I'm mixing those colors. Come on down here to about that area there. There's not much showing on this tree over here. Maybe a little bit. Just a hint that there's some background coming through that trees over here, just a little bit. Let's see. And I'll fill in the section in the middle. Okay. Now the background itself is very simple. It's really a dark green, so just pick up a little bit of ultramarine blue, and yellow lemon. Mix up. I always mix up my green. Primaries, you can mix any color you need. So it's not really that hard to mix the color. I'm gonna put this background here. These background trees. Get that in there. We're just doing a quick on-site sketch with watercolor, and those are background trees, and I'll continue on over here. Keep the background behind here. We'll make this background a little bit lighter than the actual tree here. And again, just go up there. So I'm just gonna knock in a little simple background. So I got a little purple sky, and little purple mix there for the sky, and then a little bit of light green mix here for the background. Okay, and filling in some of the little spaces here in the center. So I use this visual journal just to get a sketch, and it's just a very simple one. Now the foreground, I'm going to make it. I'll put a little bit of yellow ochre, maybe a little bit of burnt sienna. Make it a little brown. Make a little brown, a light brown mix here for the foreground, just to get some color on the paper. A little more. It's where burnt sienna, one of my favorite colors. I use that for a lot of mixtures in nature, natural color. So I'm going to put a little bit of brown here on the ground. We got dead. Yeah, it's fall. Some of the fall leaves are on the ground, and just get a little mixture here of the color, a little flavor. And I'm not gonna worry about the other part of the background. I might put a little bit. It's a little bit lighter back there, so I'm gonna put maybe a little more yellow ochre back here. I'll use yellow ochre for this part of the background. It's like a street back there, and then I'm not going to capture the street. I just want to get maybe a lighter background here behind this section. A little bit of yellow ochre, kind of break it up a little bit. And this is just a practice sketch, because you know it can change colors later on. If I wanted to make a painting out of this, or wanted to make more details. And the photographs I'm going to take and so forth will give me more details if I want to go back in and add more details to it. So this is just to get the basic sense of the area and get a general idea of what colors I would use. It's good practice. Good practice to mix colors. Now I got that light, and where I need to go, I'll go in and now go up a little more yellow ochre over here. Make this a little brighter color over here, because this is the main tree. I want to concentrate on this tree here. I'll make that a little bit more there, and I need to get a little bit darker in the foreground, just a little touch. So now I'll take a little bit of burnt sienna and add just a touch of blue, a little bit of ultramarine blue, and darken it up just a little bit. Make that a darker foreground. So I'll just add a little more. Add a little blue to that mixture. Make it a little bit darker. Yeah, that's better. And I'm playing around with the brush here. This is a quill brush, which is something I use a lot for just blocking in the basic colors. A little small build. Quill brush is nice. This is on my website also, everettwatercolors.com. Okay, well. All right, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit now before I go in and put any more. But we'll get ready for the next stage. Now, okay, now we'll finish with a quill brush. So I'll rinse it out real good. Using a lot of paper towels. Paper towels just to clean up brushes and so forth. Keep everything cool. I'm gonna put that aside. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and start putting in the. So I'll take my number 6 round. I'm going to put in the tree trunks here. I'm going to mix a little bit of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue mixture. And let me get this one in over here. This is pretty simple. More brown in there. Get this one in here. Get these branches in. And it's good to be on location. Here I can look at I'm looking exactly what I want to do now. And so I'm right now. This is the fun part. I just here capturing the shape. Really enjoying the plein air experience here. Just having a good time here this morning. Nice cool fall morning, crisp. It's about 40 degrees out here, but I got a jacket on, and there's no wind blowing here. This is nice. So it's nice and quiet. And that's what I wanted, a nice quiet scene. Early in the morning, nobody's around. And take this one up here. Yeah. So I want to concentrate on the trunks here, because the leaves aren't really that exciting. But I like painting trees. I'll bring this one in a little bit more. Yeah, that's better. And it slopes down. Yeah. So playing with that, it's got 3 branches. I like that. So, 3 branches. In art, it's always 3 is always a good number, odd number. It gives a little more interest to a subject or a painting. When you block in three elements or 3 shapes, and it makes it more interesting. Even numbers sort of are boring, because they kind of balance things out. You don't want it balanced. You want something a little bit off. Non-symmetrical. Non-symmetrical is another good term to have in art, just to keep things a little bit asymmetrical. All right, I like this. Let that branches and trunk kind of dry up. And the one over here, now this is a little bit darker, so I'm going to use a little more ultramarine blue and I'm gonna make this dark. It's gonna be black almost. I could use Payne's gray, but I'd rather use a mixture. I use Payne's gray to kind of neutralize some of the colors sometimes. It gives me an opportunity to modify my color, and I can also add white if I want to get a shade of color. So that's why I have the black and white in my palette. The black is just to tone things down, dull things down a little bit from the bright colors, and then the white is to give me a tint, something lighter. So that's about all in my palette, is just kind of develop that, and you practice. You know, you add things to your palette that you like, your different colors you like, and then practice will get you better. The more you paint, the more you practice mixing, the better off you get at it. So here, this will make these a nice dark. Now here again, this one here is all branches, so I really enjoy painting something like this because it gives me an opportunity. I'm just drawing with a brush now, and that's the part I like. All right, now let me see. Let me stop the cameras. I'm going to get another brush out. Okay. All right, I've added a couple of brushes here. Added a couple of brushes to my. I've got this is a black velvet natural hair. This is a rigger, and I've got also a black velvet. This is a sword brush. So I'm going to use both. I want to get some finer detail on the branches. So let's start with the rigger. This small rigger here, and mix up the paints. A little bit of ultramarine blue and a little bit of burnt sienna in there, just a touch. All right, darkens it up. Now this tree over here. Now I got this rigger brush, #1 rigger, really fine. Again, this is just a new brush, so I want to try something new. But look, I know I can get the really fine detail here of the branches I want to get. Okay. a shape like that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna let that. Okay, that one's done. Now for the this one over here, the color I'm going to use, I'm going to mix up a dull green. It's still got some color to it, but it's because of the it's backlit with the sun. I don't want to get it too light. And what I think I'll do here is I'll start with a flat brush. This is the 1/2-inch flat brush. So I'm mixing up a little bit of blue and yellow. Give me a darker. I may put a little bit of brown in with that because I want to dull that down. I don't want it to be too bright. I want it to be a dull green. So yellow, blue, and maybe I'll mix a little bit of burnt sienna in there to dull it down. And I could even add a little bit of Payne's gray. A little bit of Payne's gray to just dull it down. I don't want it to be too green. And then I'm just going to go in here and just kind of capture the shape here. I really like the contrast. I like the bare tree over here and the one with the leaves on. So that gives me a positive, negative type. Negative painting and positive painting. This is like negative painting with just the branches. And over here I've got the positive painting, putting all the leaves in. So I'm mixing up that little bit of Payne's gray in with that mixture. A little bit of brown in with that green and the blue. So it's just a dull color. Up and down, crisscross. This one goes. It's such a larger tree. It goes outside the edge of the book, outside the page. I like that brown in there. I like that burnt sienna. So I'm picking up a little more. Burnt sienna now and putting it in there. I like that brown texture. It gives me a color change. Also gives me a little more texture look. It looks a little more like leaves coming off of that side. And so now I'm using little tinier strokes now, capturing some of those leaves. Getting the look of that tree now, okay? And I like the edges. They're you got a rough edge. Let me go back and get a little more of that mixture. Dull it down with a little bit of Payne's gray. And now I'll really go in and really point some of those leaves off. It's popping down. Popping down, drooping down. With that rough edge. Leave that edge over there alone. And these trees come they come together a little bit. They're not close. but they're close together, side by side. So I'm going to try to come over to get a little bit of communicating. This tree talking to this tree over here with the leaves, branches, and so forth. And I think that's give the painting a little continuity there. And also there's I'm gonna leave this little corner up here just a little bit. Now I'm gonna put some texture up there, showing some leaves popping off there at that side. Okay. Now look at the values. Now I can see that the watercolor does this all the time. When I put the color down, then it dries, and then it gets much lighter. So I'm going to go in here with another layer of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. I'm going to darken this trunk up because it's much darker than what I have here. So I'm going back in with another layer of my trunk mixture, which was burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. I'm going to add that in there, and also I can fine-tune the shape of the trunks, those branches, and marry them in with the foliage. There. I overlap those so they come together. And bring that mixture down. Now I got a nice dark trunk is what I wanted, because it's much darker than what it showed. So watercolor, you have to be aware of that. Not aware of it, you should know that watercolor is going to dry lighter when you put it down. And here I'm just going back and adding in another layer of dark on top of that, and that's all you have to do. Now the bottom of these trees, will mix into the ground. And what I'll do, I think I'll do at the ground, is to finish it off, I'm going to take my quill brush again and take that burnt sienna mix I have over here. I'm just going to go through here and going to add a little more texture here to the ground, because it dried up, it got light to it, and get that tree and the ground going together. They just, you can't see the difference. They kind of merge together. Separate that tree from the little background area. So bring this burnt sienna in. I love burnt sienna. It just really, it's my favorite color. To me, I paint with burnt sienna on all my paintings somehow. It's a nice medium color, and it has so much qualities to it. It's warm, and you can cool it down by adding a little blue to it. But it's for painting a nature scene. Burnt sienna is probably more prevalent than any other color. You'll see a lot of burnt sienna in every scene, whether it's trees or mountains or rocks. Burnt sienna is one of the main ingredients. You have to have burnt sienna in your palette. Okay. All right. Okay, that's my painting exercise for today. I'm very happy with that.